Annuncio vobis gaudium magnum. Habemus papam.
We have a pope.
Eminentissimum, ac reverendissimum Dominum, Dominum Robertum Franciscum, Sancte Romane Ecclesiae, Cardinalem Prevost.
Cardinal Prevost.
Qui sibi nomen imposuit Leonem decimum quartum.
Will be called Leonem Decimum IV. Leonem Decimum IV.
Well, there we are. There has never been a pope from the United States.
Isn't that incredible?
But there is now. Robert Francis Prevost is the new pope. He is 69 years old, born in Chicago, and he served actually 2 decades in Peru. But we are seeing history. We are about to see history, Father.
Well, I think it's come as a great surprise to most people, the election of an American pope. I think many of the names have already been mentioned. His name wasn't being mentioned, but I think that's a wonderful sign of what happens in the Sistine Chapel, and it's a fruit of prayer, of the cardinals coming together. The cardinals themselves, they know one another, and they've had this opportunity over the past few weeks since the death of our dearly late beloved Pope Francis, and they got to know one another. So the new pope, it's a truly remarkable appointment, and obviously great excitement when we all saw the smoke go up first, and we were waited then for about an hour to know who it would be, and so it was for me personally it was a surprise. I was not expecting him, but I think conclaves sometimes they give great surprises. 12 years ago, Pope Francis was a surprise to many people, and I think also the election seems to have happened, or even a ballot sooner, from what we can come and gather. You know, that the announcement was that little bit earlier than it was with Pope Francis. So despite the speculation on some parts that it might take longer, in fact, it's in the usual area of elections that have been going back to 1978. Most elections have taken place on the second or even the third day. So the last 3 papal elections now have all happened on the second day of the conclave. So we're delighted. I think Catholics are rejoicing throughout the world. We have our Holy Father. We have felt bereft and like orphans that our spiritual father, Pope Francis, had passed away on Easter Monday. But now we have a cause for rejoicing that the cardinals have chosen a new pope, a new Holy Father, and he will. We all have to get to know him. Yeah. And so I think probably your colleagues in newsrooms throughout the world, they are scrambling to find out who he is and what he is. I'm afraid I can't tell you too much because I hardly know. I don't know him myself. Yeah. I've never met him. He only moved to Rome less than 2 years ago when Pope Francis appointed him to be the prefect of the dicastery for bishops in the Curia in Rome, which is the department that's responsible for the appointment of bishops. One of the departments responsible for bishops. There's another department is the dicastery of evangelization, which is responsible for appointments of bishops in Africa and Asia and parts of South America. But he is responsible for appointing bishops in the other parts of the world. So it's an interesting. He was a relatively newcomer in Rome. He was only became a cardinal in September of 2023. Yeah. So it's a short time, not the shortest time in history. There have been cases where some cardinals have had been a very short time, but in recent times is a very short period as cardinal.
The election of Pope Leo XIV, formerly Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost, as the first American pontiff has elicited a wide array of reactions from global leaders, religious communities, and the faithful worldwide. Global political leaders. United States. President Donald Trump held the election as a great honor for the US, expressing eagerness to meet the new pope. United Kingdom. Prime Minister Keir Starmer described the election as a deeply profound moment of joy for Catholics in the UK and globally. France. President Emmanuel Macron extended a message of fraternity to Pope Leo XIV and Catholics worldwide. Germany. Chancellor Friedrich Merz, expressed hope that the new pope would provide hope and guidance to millions of believers around the world in these challenging times. Italy. Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni praised the pope's call for peace and brotherhood during times of conflict. Russia. President Vladimir Putin expressed confidence in the continuation of constructive dialogue and cooperation between Russia and the Vatican. Ukraine. President Volodymyr Zelensky expressed hope for continued moral and spiritual support from the Vatican in Ukraine's efforts to restore justice and achieve lasting peace. Colombia. President Gustavo Petro expressed hope that Pope Leo XIV would become a great leader for people with migrant backgrounds worldwide. Mexico. President Claudia Sheinbaum praised the Pope's values in favor of world peace and prosperity. South Africa. President Cyril Ramaphosa commented that the Pope's emphasis on peace honors the legacy of the late Pope Francis. Israel. President Isaac Herzog looked forward to enhancing the relationship between Israel and the Holy See, strengthening the friendship between Jews and Christians. Poland. President Andrzej Duda offered assurances of Poland's readiness to strengthen its unique bonds with the Vatican in the name of shared values. Spain. Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez prayed for the Pope's pontificate to contribute to strengthening dialogue and the defense of human rights, religious and ecumenical communities. Pope Leo XIV's background as a missionary in Peru and his dual U.S.-Peruvian citizenship have resonated with many in Latin America. His emphasis on peace, unity, and compassion has been welcomed by various religious leaders and communities who see his election as a continuation of Pope Francis's legacy of inclusivity and social justice. Public and faithful reactions. In St. Peter's Square, the announcement of an American pope was met with surprise and jubilation, especially among American visitors. Pope Leo XIV addressed the crowd in Italian and Spanish, reflecting his international experience and missionary work in Peru. Many faithful expressed hope that his leadership would bring renewed faith and outreach. Looking ahead, Pope Leo XIV is scheduled to celebrate Mass with the cardinals on May 9th and deliver his first Angelus on May 11th. He is also expected to hold a press conference on May 12th to outline his vision for the Catholic Church's future. Here's an outline of 10 major functions of the Pope. Their significance both for the Church and the world. 1. Supreme Pastor and Spiritual Leader. Summary. The Pope leads the Catholic Church as the spiritual head. Significance to the Church, provides unity, direction, and doctrinal authority to over 1.3 billion Catholics worldwide. Significance globally, offers moral and ethical leadership influencing global conscience on peace, justice, and human rights. 2. Teacher of Faith Magisterium. Summary. The Pope defines and clarifies Catholic teachings. Significance to the Church, protects and transmits authentic doctrine, preventing theological confusion. Significance globally, shapes moral discourse on topics like bioethics, sexuality, and social justice, affecting global debates. 3. Chief Liturgist. Summary. The Pope presides over key liturgical celebrations, for example, Easter, Christmas, canonizations. Significance to the Church, models worship and reinforces liturgical unity across diverse cultures. Significance globally, these events draw millions of viewers, fostering a sense of global spiritual solidarity. 4. Defender of the poor and vulnerable. Summary. Advocates for social justice, peace, and care for marginalized communities. Significance to the Church, reinforces Catholic social teaching and the Church's mission to serve the least. Significance globally, raises awareness and mobilizes action on poverty, refugees, climate change, and economic inequality. 5. Head of Vatican City-State. Summary. The Pope is the sovereign of the world's smallest independent state. Significance to the Church, ensures Church independence from secular powers. Significance globally, enables the Vatican to maintain diplomatic relations with 180+ nations, mediating in international affairs. 6. Appointer of bishops and cardinals. Summary. Chooses bishops and cardinals to lead dioceses and advise him. Significance to the Church, ensures global leadership aligned with Church vision and values. Significance globally, shapes Church leadership across cultures, affecting millions through their pastoral governance. 7. Promoter of Christian unity and interfaith dialogue. Summary. Encourages unity among Christian denominations and dialogue with other religions. Significance to the Church, works toward healing divisions within Christianity. Significance globally, promotes peace, mutual respect, and collaboration among world religions in a pluralistic world. 8. Guardian of apostolic tradition. Summary. Preserves and hands down the faith and practices from the apostles. Significance to the Church, safeguards the Church's identity and continuity. Significance globally, anchors the Church's moral and ethical voice in enduring principles, respected across cultures. 9. Moral voice in global crises. Summary. Speaks out during wars, humanitarian crises, pandemics, and environmental threats. Significance to the Church mobilizes Catholics for charitable and peace-building efforts. Significance globally provides a neutral, respected moral authority calling for justice, mercy, and solidarity. 10. Symbol of unity and hope. Summary. Embodies the unity of the Catholic Church and hope for humanity. Significance to the Church. Serves as a visible center of communion and leadership. Significance globally. Offers inspiration and moral encouragement to believers and non-believers alike during turbulent times. For as many that have watched up until this point, I want to specifically appreciate you all, and to my returning subscribers, may God bless you all. If you are new here, do well to like, comment sensibly, share for it to reach many out there who are interested in this topic, and don't forget to subscribe. Once again, thank you much, and see you on my subsequent videos. Cheers.